Talk 2 fluency from beginner to fluent.
Take your English skills to the next level.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise, giving you the essentials from, well, a whole stack of sources. Today, we're diving into something really important for so many people's plans, prepping for the IELTS exam in 2025. Now, IELTS, the International English Language Testing System, it's that global standard, right, uses a 9-band scale. Universities, immigration, jobs, they all look at it. Our mission today, figure out how you can get ready quickly, effectively, from home, maybe even for free, like others have done, aiming for that better score. Okay, let's unpack this.
Absolutely. And look, the amount of IELTS prep stuff out there, it can feel, well, overwhelming, like an ocean, as you said. So today, we're not just listing things. We want to sort out what's genuinely useful from what's absolutely essential. The goal is to give you the core steps, save you time, make sure you're really prepared, help you avoid some of those, dead ends I definitely hit when I first took the test.
Yeah, saving time is crucial, especially with something this significant. So, okay, someone's just starting out. What are the foundational things, the must-haves they need to grab first?
Great question. For that solid base, there are really two things that are, well, the gold standard. First, you absolutely need the Cambridge English practice tests. No question why. Yeah. Because they're made by the same people who write the actual exam papers. So they're the closest you'll get to the real deal. Format, question style, difficulty, it's all there. The latest is book 19, I think, but honestly, anything from number 15 upwards is going to be really, really relevant.
Okay, Cambridge books. Got it. What's number 2?
Number 2, the official IELTS websites. That means IELTS.org, British Council, and IDP. They actually co-own the test. And their sites are just packed with useful stuff. Sample questions for every single task type, official answer sheets you can print. That's great for paper-based practice. And they even have computer-based practice tests now, which are vital if you're doing the digital exam.
Right. So it's about being strategic from the start. Focus on these official things and don't get distracted by, random materials online that might just confuse things. Makes sense. Okay, let's get into the sections. Starting with listening. Now, this one's the same for both academic and general training tests, isn't it?
That's right. Identical format. You've got 40 questions, about 30 minutes of audio. Then there's that transfer time, crucial bit, 10 minutes if you're on paper, but only a quick 2 minutes for the computer test. Easy to forget, but vital.
And scores. What should people aim for?
Good point. Just as a rough guide, Band 6 usually needs around 23 correct answers out of 40. For Band 7, you're aiming higher, maybe 30 correct. And for a really strong Band 8, you'd likely need about 35 right.
Okay. Now, a lot of people find this section tough, that feeling of overwhelm, trying to read the questions while the audio is playing. It's like juggling, right? How do you actually train for that mental gymnastics?
Yeah, you've hit it. Exactly. It's a core difficulty. It's a mental game, really, as much as listening. The recordings are usually clear, the questions often simple enough on their own, but putting them together, that's the trick. So here are some strategies, things you can actually do. First, learn the test format inside out, like an athlete learning the field. Do 1 or 2 practice tests under strict time conditions. It's not just about pace. It's training your brain to anticipate. Where will the answer likely be? How are instructions phrased? Where can I save a second or two? This kind of mental map. It really helps against test day nerves. And it sets you up for good time management across the whole exam.
Okay, understand the format. What next?
Next, focus on the question types. The good news, there are basically only 4 main kinds. Fill in the blank, multiple choice, map tasks, and matching tasks. You should practice all of them, of course, but if time's tight, maybe focus a bit more on multiple choice. They can often be the trickiest, with those subtle distractors they throw in.
The distractors. Okay.
And this one's really, really important. Analyze your mistakes deeply. Don't just count how many you got right and move on. This is not enough.
Right.
Go back. Every question you got wrong, or even ones you weren't sure about. Find the exact spot in the recording. Use the transcripts in the back of the Cambridge books if you need to. And figure out why. Why did you make that mistake? Was it a word you didn't know? Did a distractor trick you? Did you misunderstand the question?
Understanding the why.
Exactly. Because that shows you patterns in your errors. And that turns a simple mistake into like a roadmap for exactly what you need to work on.
That makes sense. Targeted improvement.
Precisely. And one more thing, just for improving general listening skills, a favorite exercise of mine. Take a practice recording you've already done. First, just listen. No questions. Just absorb. Then, listen to the same recording again, but this time, read the transcript simultaneously. Really pay attention to words or phrases you missed the first time. Replay bits if you need to. Let it sink in. Finally, listen a third time. No transcript. You'll probably be amazed at how much more you understand.
Wow. Okay. Listen, then listen and read, then listen again.
Repeat that process. Your listening comprehension will improve, genuinely, quite dramatically.
So what does this all mean for you? It means getting active with your practice, digging into errors, sharpening those core skills, not just passively listening. Okay, let's go on. Reading section. This one feels different between academic and general training, right? Content scoring.
You're right, key differences there. General training texts, they're usually about everyday stuff. Work situations, daily life, generally more straightforward.
Yeah.
Academic texts, more like university readings. Scientific topics, academic arguments, denser.
And that affects the scores needed.
Directly, yeah. Because the academic texts are harder, you generally need fewer correct answers for the same band score. For example, band 6 academic might be around 23, correct? But for general training band 6, you need more, maybe closer to 30.
Okay.
Band 7, roughly 30 for academic versus maybe 35 for general. Band 8, maybe 35 academic, around 38 for general. It varies slightly test to test, but that's the ballpark.
And the big challenges in reading, I'm guessing the amount of text, especially for academic.
That's definitely one.
Yeah.
The main hurdles usually fall into 3 buckets. First, the sheer volume. Academic has 3 long, quite dense passages. It's a lot to get through. Second, vocabulary. It's a marathon. Unless your English is really top tier, you will see words you don't know. Reading often demands the widest vocabulary range in IELTS.
Right.
And third, time pressure. It's intense. 60 minutes, 40 questions. Even students aiming for band 9 often say they feel rushed.
So how do you prepare effectively for that?
Well, similar strategies to listening, actually. Start by learning the test format. Do a couple of practice tests, and if it feels way too hard at first, just take the timer off.
Right.
Seriously. Focus purely on finding the answers, understanding the text. Get comfortable first. You can add the time pressure back later.
Okay, ease into it.
Then again, analyze those mistakes. It's non-negotiable. Go back to the passage for wrong answers. Find the sentence. Reread it. Look up words you didn't know. Understand why the right answer is right. And pay attention to which question types give you the most trouble.
Makes sense. What about those unknown words? You said there'd be lots.
Right. You need to learn to work around unfamiliar words. Especially in academic reading, you'll hit specific jargon. But here's the thing. The test is usually designed so the really obscure words don't actually block you from getting the answer. Don't get stuck on one word. Focus on the overall meaning, the stuff you do understand. Bypass the tricky vocabulary if you can.
So don't panic about every single word.
Exactly. And another point here, IELTS reading isn't just, reading. It's testing your verbal reasoning, your ability to truly understand meaning. This really comes out in true, false, not given questions, or yes, not given. You might understand every word, but figuring out if something is not given versus actually false, that takes real comprehension skill.
The dreaded not given.
Indeed. So understanding the different question types is key. There can be, 11 to 14 different kinds. Check the official websites for lists. Focus your practice on the types you find hardest. Common tough ones. True, false, not given, matching headings, multiple choice, matching paragraph information. Focus your energy there if needed.
Okay, targeted practice again.
Absolutely.
And one last crucial piece of advice for reading.
Yes.
Don't let it eat up all your study time. Yes, it's important. But for many people, writing and speaking actually need more focused attention, more dedicated practice time to see real score improvements.
That's a really important point about balancing study time. Thanks.
Oh.
Which brings us neatly to writing, often called the hardest section, right? Especially for academic. And it's so hard to know how well you're really doing on your own. You've hit the nail on the head. Writing is often the biggest hurdle. And self-assessment, extremely difficult. So the basics, 60 minutes, 2 tasks. Task 1 is different. Academic.rural, report on a chart, map, diagram. General training, write a letter. Task 2 is an essay for both. Pretty similar structure, though academic topics might be slightly more, academic or formal.
Okay. And beyond the time pressure, what makes it so tough? You mentioned the iceberg analogy before. Unseen expectations.
That iceberg analogy is perfect. The bit you see. Time pressure, needing good vocabulary, accurate grammar. Obvious challenges.
Right.
But the massive part underwater, that's where marks often get lost. Examiners are assessing your actual writing skills, your logic, how you structure ideas, are your arguments relevant? Do they flow well? For example, getting a band 7 in task 2. It's not just about good English sentences. It's about a well-organized, logical essay that directly answers the prompt with developed ideas.
So it's more than just language proficiency.
Much more. Many students have decent English, but struggle because their underlying writing skills, structuring arguments, developing points, logically haven't been honed for this specific type of task. The good news, you can often improve those writing skills faster than, say, fundamentally improving your overall grammar range.
Okay, so how do we tackle this iceberg? What's the plan for writing prep?
Right. Here's a kind of roadmap. First, learn all the requirements. Find the official IELTS band descriptors online. It's public. It outlines the 4 criteria: task achievement response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, grammatical range, and accuracy. Don't just read it. Find examples. Understand what a band 6, 7, or 8 looks like for each criterion. This is basically your marking sheet.
Know the rules of the game.
Exactly. Second, learn the different question types. For Task 1, academic, know how to approach tables, line graphs, bar charts, pie charts, maps, process diagrams. They each need a slightly different touch. For Task 1, general training, get comfortable with informal, semi-formal, and formal letter styles. Tone is key. For Task 2, learn the common essay types. Advantages, disadvantages, 2 views plus opinion, opinion essay, problem solution, 2 direct questions. Know the standard approach for each.
Okay, types covered. What else?
Third, master paragraph structure. Don't get creative here. Examiners expect certain things, like in academic task 1, you must have an overview paragraph summarizing the main trends. No overview. You can't get a high score for task achievement. In task 2 essays, it's usually best to state your opinion clearly in the introduction and stick to it. Don't hide it until the end like you might in some other essay styles.
Specific structural points are key then.
Crucial. Fourth, build targeted vocabulary. Specifically for writing. Think 3 areas: linking words, however, moreover, although consequently, etc., for flow. Task 1, academic vocabulary. Words to describe trends and data. Significant increase. Reach a peak. Fluctuate. Task 1, general training vocabulary. Common phrases for letters. I am writing to inquire about. I look forward to hearing from you.
Right, specific tools for the job.
Exactly. Fifth, obvious but essential. Practice writing. Regularly. Start without the clock. Focus on quality, structure, using the right vocabulary, then gradually speed up. Aim to finish both tasks comfortably within the 60 minutes.
Practice makes perfect, or at least faster.
Pretty much. Sixth, and this is a modern one, use AI, but carefully. Tools like ChatGPT, they can be really helpful. Paste your writing in. Ask it to check grammar and vocabulary. It's usually pretty good at that.
Okay.
You can even ask it things like, can you suggest ways to make this paragraph more coherent? But always check its suggestions critically.
Yeah.
But a T, and this is vital, never ask AI for a band score. Seriously, don't do it.
Why not?
Because it's terrible at it. I've tested it. He gave an official band 9 model answer, a band 6.5 once. It just doesn't understand the nuances of IELTS scoring. Use it for proofreading, maybe ideas, but never for scoring.
Wow, okay. That's a critical warning. Good to know.
Definitely. And finally, 7th, if you're taking the paper test, practice on the official answer sheets. Use a pencil. Get used to the space, and practice word count. Make sure task 1 is over 150 words, task 2 over 250. Eventually, you'll get a feel for the length without having to count every single word.
That's incredibly thorough. Covers a lot of ground for writing. That iceberg feels a bit less scary now.
All right, final section. Speaking 11 to 14 minutes face-to-face can feel pretty intense, right?
It really can, yeah. That one-on-one situation can be nerve-wracking. But the absolute number one thing to remember here is the examiner is not judging your ideas. Not your intelligence, not your knowledge. They are purely assessing your ability to communicate in English. Can you express ideas? Can you hold a conversation? That's it.
So what are they listening for specifically? Okay, they focus on a few key things based on the band descriptors again. First, fluency and coherence. Can you speak smoothly without too much hesitation or effort? Do your ideas link together logically? Are your answers long enough to show your ability? Short, clipped answers don't give them much to work with.
Okay, smooth and connected speech.
Second, lexical resource, that's vocabulary, and grammatical range and accuracy. Basically, can you use a good range of words and sentence structures? Are your grammar mistakes minor, or do they block communication? They also like to hear some natural idiomatic language, not complex jargon, but things like phrasal verbs, break up, look into, or common idioms, a drop in the ocean. Just natural English.
Natural language not sounding like a textbook.
Exactly. And the final area is pronunciation. Now, crucially, this is not about your accent. Accents are fine. It's about clarity. Can the examiner understand you easily? Are individual sounds clear? Is your rhythm and intonation understandable? Don't speak too fast or too slow. Just aim for clarity.
Clarity, not accent. That's reassuring for many people.
It should be. Recording yourself speaking is a great way to check your own clarity.
Okay, so understanding what they are listening for is helpful. If you had to give just 2 simple, powerful tips for speaking prep.
2 really critical ones that can make a big difference. First, don't try to sound smart, seriously. The examiner doesn't care about complex philosophical arguments. Simple ideas are usually much easier to explain clearly and fluently in English. Stick to what you can express well.
Simple and clear is better than complex and confusing.
Precisely. Second, don't try to sound formal. The speaking test is meant to be like a relatively informal conversation. Be polite, absolutely, but you don't need overly formal language, just natural, polite conversation.
Be polite, be natural. Got it. And how about preparing for the different parts? Part 1, 2, 3.
Right, good breakdown. Part 1 is that 4 to 5-minute intro, 10, 11 questions, personal stuff, your work, studies, hobbies, hometown. Aim for answers about 2-3 sentences long. Avoid just yes or no. Give a little bit more. Practice timing yourself, maybe.
Okay, 2-3 sentences for part 1.
Part 2 is the long term. You get a task card, a minute to prep, then speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Your goal here, keep talking until the examiner tells you to stop. Cover the points on the card, add detail. Use a timer in practice to get used to speaking for that length of time.
Keep going till they stop you.
Right. Then part 3, another 4 or 5 minutes. This follows on from part 2's topic. It gets more abstract, more general, maybe more serious. 5, 6 questions, often with follow-ups. Here the key is to not talk just about yourself. Discuss general ideas, opinions, society. So instead of, I think, maybe some people believe, or in my country. Give longer, more developed answers, maybe up to 45 seconds or so. Sure, you can discuss abstract topics.
Abstract, general ideas for part 3. Longer answers. Fantastic. That breaks it down nicely. And practice questions. Where do people find those?
Oh, they're readily available. You can find PDFs online, often compiled from what students remember from real tests. Many good study resources also link to things like an IELTS speaking library. These often have questions, sample answers, useful vocabulary. Great for targeted practice.
Excellent. Well, this has been an incredibly thorough deep dive into IELTS prep for 2025. It definitely seems like, while it might look huge and scary at first, breaking it down like this, section by section, skill by skill, makes it feel much more manageable. You can actually see how you'd make progress.
Absolutely. It is manageable when you break it down. And maybe a final thought for you listening. It's something to mull over. Success in IELTS. It's not just about how good your English is overall. It's just as much about truly understanding what the test demands, the specific requirements, the formats, the scoring, and then applying smart, focused preparation strategies. That combination, that's what really unlocks your potential score.
A great point to end on. Understanding the test is half the battle. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive. See you later, and Talk to Fluency YouTube channel. Subscribe for more. Bye.
Talk to Fluency from beginner to fluent.
Take your English skills to the next level.